Hello, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to CVFM Radio Drive Time here with me, Idris, keeping you company as ever. And today we got a very special program. We do have the Mayor of Middlesbrough, Andy Preston, in the studio as part of Mayor's Question Time. And he is just doing a few socials in the studio. So while he takes his seat, we're going to keep you company. As I said, we're going to have this as a monthly feature here on CVFM, also broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and various other social media platforms as well. So thank you for tuning in. Please do hit the share button as well. And what we'll do is we've got quite a few questions in today which have been submitted on video. We'll be going through them. We'll be speaking to Andy about the work that he's been doing. And hopefully this is going to be a monthly feature as well. So if you don't get the opportunity to take part today, please do check out next month's program as well. So let's hit this one more time, and then we'll introduce Andy to you. Indeed, it isn't about you. It is about you. It's a warm welcome to Andy Preston in the studio. And Andy, how are you doing? A warm welcome to you. It's quite warm here in the studio, so I do apologise about that. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, good. I'm very busy. This is really loud. Can you turn it down a bit more for me?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, no, I'm really good. I'm very busy, very hungry. I came here, hadn't eaten all day, so Idris has supplied me with all the healthy 5 a day here. All I asked for was a coffee. I said I need a coffee with sugar, so I've got that. I've got my water.
Yeah, I didn't want you to having low sugar and then passing out on us in the middle of.
I'll pass out with diabetes is what you bought.
So thank you for making time for us, Andy. And as I said, this is about our listeners, our viewers, for it's about their questions. But as a little bit update in terms of breaking news. Obviously, parts of the northeast have been put under additional restrictions. What is the situation here in Middlesbrough in terms of COVID-19? Would you like to give a little update on that first before we go to our questions?
Yeah, you know what? It's confusing because there's all this talk in the national media and regionally about northeast lockdown, northeast restrictions. I've had several BBC entities, national telly people contact me to comment on this northeast lockdown. And of course, when they use the phrase northeast, people assume Middlesbrough is included. It's not. We are not in any kind of lockdown or special restriction place here in Middlesbrough or any of the boroughs around Middlesbrough along the River Tees. The northeast lockdown refers to County Durham North. And for example, if you travel up to Sunderland, they've got a rate per 100,000 people of something like 100 or maybe higher. In Middlesbrough right now, our number's been dropping down to 36. But I need to be clear that although that's heading the right way, it's still not great. Thank you to everyone who's done stuff to get our number down, worn masks, kept a distance, wash your hands. We need to do a lot more. We need to avoid a lockdown at all costs because it will damage jobs, it will damage mental health, and it will destroy aspects of our culture and society. So keep doing it, and we will avoid a lockdown and all be better off for it.
Okay, thank you, Andy. And as I say, there's a few questions in relation to COVID-19 and Middlesbrough's response. Just in terms of a conversation starter, shall we go to one of the questions in relation to COVID-19? Because it's affecting different people in different ways. Obviously, you've got older people, younger people, those that have health conditions. So we'll go to Tony, who is one of our listeners, and he was passing the studio this morning, and he actually came in to give his video clip. So let's take a listen to Tony.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
I'd like to ask Mr. Preston what what's he going to do, and the council, about all these people that are walking about with no masks on, and there's nowhere in this world that they're doing 1 metre apart. What about these marshals that you've got? When are they going to be seen on the streets, and what powers have they got to make these people wear a mask? Or is it going to be a case of most of these youngsters, if a bad thing to say, but if somebody in their family or a relative dies, is that when they're going to realise that they have got to wear a mask? And what is your opinions, Andy, please?
Okay.
So Andy, that was Tony, and obviously he was in his, some protection there. He was, has health condition, underlying health condition, so he's concerned about the rising number of cases in the area. So how do you reassure people, and what is the plan of action to ensure that Middlesbrough does as good as to be expected?
Okay, I think Tony had 4 questions there. If I remember them correctly, it was about people not wearing masks, people not distancing, where are those that the government talks about, and what powers we'll have. First question. Yeah, we need to wear more masks. We need to do it. It's not just a Middlesbrough problem, by the way. Some people come to Middlesbrough and say, oh, we have loads of people wearing masks. It's not like where I'm from, where it's worse. And some people say it's really bad here. In truth, it's a mixed case, mixed bag everywhere. We need to wear masks. It's proven to reduce the ability of a virus to spread. My next point is that even if you don't believe in them, even if you don't believe in COVID, I think it's polite and respectful to wear one when you walk in a shop. And we all need to get better at that, absolutely. And yet, by all means, remind each other. So we need to wear masks. What we're doing right now, as I speak, there are people in Middlesbrough delivering free masks, and every single home is going to get 3 free face masks. And I want to remove any opportunity for anybody, other than for medical reasons, to not wear a mask. So to my knowledge, nowhere else in the country is doing this, to my knowledge. So we're going that step further. We're taking action. We're delivering masks, removing excuses. Wear a mask when you go to the shop, or you're indoors, or you're interacting with other people. Secondly, the government has talked about marshals. To be honest, I don't think any of us in local authorities yet quite understand what the government means. But our street wardens, and we will have volunteers from within the council, existing staff, to be out on the streets, trying to marshal the streets, advise the public, get out more information. The marshals will not, to answer Tony's last point, the marshals will not have, to my knowledge, any particular powers. The word I hear from other local authorities is that they will not be bringing in marshals for COVID. The other one was about distancing, and you know what? We need to keep reminding each other. It's so frustrating. In the last 2 days, I met 4 people, and well, I've met a lot more than 4, probably more like 104, but 4 people I know well, mature, intelligent people. I said, "How are you doing, so and so?" And they put their hand out, shake hands. And I'm saying no, and we do a little elbow bump. And we need to get out of that habit. On its own, one handshake is very unlikely to cause any damage at all. But going through life in the coming weeks, shaking hands will absolutely help push our infection rate up and increase the chance that we go into a lockdown. If we go into a lockdown, it's bad for jobs, it's bad for mental health, and it will destroy our culture and the fabric of our society. So we can all play a role. In Middlesbrough, we've gone from an infection rate of 52 down to 36 in about 10 days. Now, I'm not going to stop banging on about it because we might go up. Idris has given me a polite hand signal to stop, so I'll stop answering this now. Thank you for the question, Tony.
No, I was just going to say that in terms of Middlesbrough, the rate that you mentioned, it's number of cases, a number of positive results per 100,000.
Yes.
So is that the figure that is mentioned in the papers? And if it gets maybe 70, 80 in that region, you go on to a government watch list where they give you additional resources, maybe in terms of test and trace.
So yes, essentially yes, but there isn't a fixed number at which you go on the watch list. It used to be, actually. The government started to get concerned above 30, but across the country, infection rates are picking up. So Sunderland, I believe, is like over 100 today, or it certainly has been recently. Leicester went way above that. So our number got to 52, I think, and the government was very concerned, and so were we. We have actually seen a fall over the last 7 to 10 days, which is great news. We're down at 36 today, but you know what? that could shoot up tomorrow. So we absolutely have to take care, keep doing what we're doing. And by the way, some businesses are doing such a great job in reducing risk, and we're going to continue with that. And we're going to help businesses get safe. There's going to be a grant for small businesses to make them safer for staff, safer for customers. Taxis, we're going to be putting screens in the cars of self-employed taxi drivers, so they're safer and their passengers are safer. We're doing all we can. We're going to keep our number down as best we can. I will update you if it picks up. We are not out of the woods, so we need to keep doing the 3 things: wash your hands, keep a distance, wear a mask. If we do that, we'll avoid a lockdown, and we can look forward to a brilliant Middlesbrough 2021.
Just a question on the screen that I put there in from Jamie Sample. He said next week is Freshers Week. What would you like to say anything in terms to the new students that arrived this weekend? Obviously, Tony mentioned young people as well, socializing. So what's your messages or message to young people out there, and especially students that are coming into Middlesbrough?
Excuse me, I'm just burping. Is that audible? I'm really sorry. It's the Twix injuries brought me here. The message for students arriving and anybody arriving in Middlesbrough is welcome. You know what? We are a really welcoming place. There's a history of that going back, decades and decades. And there is amazing stuff to do here. Obviously, you're not going to see Middlesbrough or anywhere at its best. But you know what? There are going to be great things to do. And I know that at the university, a lot of activities will still go on. Going to a bar isn't intrinsically dangerous. Going to a meeting isn't intrinsically dangerous. Going to an event isn't intrinsically on its own dangerous. What's dangerous is lazy, stupid, risky behavior, or a venue being badly managed. And what we have in Middlesbrough is a bunch of good venues that are well managed, and you'll be very safe if you act sensibly. So get out, enjoy them, mix with people and socialize. But if you're running a bad venue or you see one, let us know, because we do inspect them. And you know what? If they're a serious risk to health, we will absolutely close them down. So welcome to Middlesbrough. We have reduced our infection rate. We've got a bunch of amazing things to do indoors and outdoors. And I think you'll have a great time.
Okay, before we go to our next question, a big thank you to everyone that's contributed to the program today. A lot of people sent in video questions as well. So Martin is asking, are you surprised that Teesside has escaped the lockdown restrictions when large rural areas like Northumberland rates low as 2% per 100,000 in some areas are subjected to restrictions? What do you think North Yorkshire could be next?
I'm not surprised, no, because I don't think our numbers, excuse me, I'm really sorry. Idris giving me coffee and water and biscuits. I am really sorry that, I'm really sorry for doing that, but I'm not surprised at all that we avoided a lockdown. Imposing a lockdown, in fact, and there was a movement by some people to try and get some kind of restrictions in place in Middlesbrough, Stockton and elsewhere. It's a stupid thing to do, and it's stupid because right now, as things stand, it's not necessary. In this crisis, and it is a crisis, it's a public health crisis, it's an economic crisis, and it's a social crisis. In this crisis, we need to do everything we can to keep people safe, and we need to do everything we can to keep lives alive, to keep people well mentally and preserve jobs, okay? Stopping the virus completely is easy. You just lock everyone down completely. We need to find a middle ground, and right now in Middlesbrough, we've got a good middle ground. Our infection rates appear to be stable, and we're doing everything we can. And I need everybody listening to act sensibly and show respect to others by covering their face.
It is, and sometimes we do forget. Like yourself, I think someone snapped you in one of the shopping centres without one on briefly. And as I said, it's one of those things. But I think we all must try our best. Okay, so we'll park a Corona up for a second. Shall we go to another question? And this one is
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
My name's Chris Piercy. I work for various landlords, and in some areas there is selective licensing. What we want to know is what this money is being used for and how it's actually going to assist the landlords in question, because we can't see any benefit from this.
Did you get that question, Andy? So in terms of selective licensing, this gentleman works with various landlords. and he is saying what sort of benefit are they going to receive, because they're not seeing anything apart from paying the license fees.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a good question. With respect, Chris, you are wrong. You are seeing a lot for the money you are paying, and so is every single person and business in Middlesbrough. I'll tell you the work that goes on behind the scenes that you wouldn't know about unless you ask the question. I'm telling you that I know of criminals who have been chased out of town and or dealt with by the police and the courts because of the staff that we have recruited to selective licensing. We have some... I'm getting an echo. We okay?
Yeah.
Great. We have some problems in parts of central Middlesbrough with monstrous antisocial behaviour, thuggery, intimidation. Today I visited a couple that I know, and I stood on their doorstep and talked to them, and they're in tears. They're in tears because of the way they are being treated in the street they've lived in for decades by people around them. All right. And we need to put that right, and we need to deal with these characters who are polluting the town, killing jobs and damaging people's mental health. And the selective licensing for landlords, which charges you a fee, that means we register all people who are renting out properties, because you know what? There are some nasty people that rent out properties and actually do completely the wrong thing and place criminals amongst decent people, and we cannot allow that. And I'll tell you something else. The money we have collected has paid for staff, which has gathered intelligence, which has got criminals, thugs and idiots into the court system and in prison. And I make no apology for that. We will keep doing that. We will keep gathering that money. We will match it with council money, and we'll take every step possible to get the bad people out of central Middlesbrough and make it an awesome, even better place to live and work. And by the way, we are progressing with that. If you look at our crime rates, our antisocial behaviour rates, compared to other boroughs, over the last 8-9 months, our rates are falling faster. We've got a long way to go, but we are doing all the right things. We're not tolerating, I'm sorry, but I'm nearly swearing, we're not tolerating idiots, criminals, thugs and undesirables bringing Middlesbrough down, damaging lives and damaging jobs. It's not allowed.
Okay, thank you for that, Andy. So that was in relation to selective licensing. And is there a potential of maybe opening up other areas of Middlesbrough within the TS1? Anything in the pipeline?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's always being looked at. And in parts of TS1, we introduced a thing called the Public Space Protection Order. And that's new rules. And you know what? Again, it's strong rules. It's quite harsh stuff. Some people said, and some people complained that it was too harsh. And if you go rummaging in bins and turfing rubbish in the streets, you get a fine if we can catch you. And by the way, we're putting up cameras all over town. We will catch you. But you know what? The soft brigade, the Liberal brigade came out and said that this is too cruel. It's this, it's that. But no. I'm sick of trying to reassure decent people whose lives are literally ruined by people who go in back alleys and tip out bins, people who go in back alleys and sell drugs, people that are constantly harassing neighbours, causing all kinds of mayhem day and night. We're not putting up with it. I'm not apologising for it. We're going to introduce rules. We've put more police on the streets, by the way, with more money. That isn't publicised much. We've put wardens on the streets who gather intelligence, work with the police and issue fines. And we've got more council staff looking at this. All the right things are in place, and we will see a continued gradual decline in crime in Middlesbrough versus other places, and we're gonna rebuild and put right 40 years of problems. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're doing all the right things.
So your response has given me. I'm just looking at my dashboard with the rest of the questions, and I think I'm going to go to this one here.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi Andy, Mike here, Middlesbrough resident. I work in TS1 where we have a lot of problems with rubbish. I believe that the council is planning on moving to a 2-week cycle for bins and so on, which would just seem to lead to more problems. We already have overflowing bins here, we already have vermin in the back alleys and so on, and don't you think that moving to a 2-week bin cycle would make things worse?
Is a consultation taking place in relation to that? So valid point made by Mike. What's your response to that, Andy?
Good question, Mike, and I totally get where people are coming from. First thing I do is reassure you and other people that live and operate in TS1 is that where there are communal bins, so it might be an apartment block or it might be a back alley or whatever else, if there's a communal bin, weekly bin collections would remain. By the way, this is a consultation, so anybody listening, watching, if you've got a strong view on this, go on the Middlesbrough Council website. We want to hear your views. I'll tell you where we're coming from with this, is that we've got the same mission as almost every other local authority, is that we want to reduce costs. Okay, we're under severe financial pressure and we have to reduce costs. We've got no choice. We have to reduce the money we spend. Almost every other local authority has gone to a fortnightly bin collection, something like 80% nationally. In the Northeast, there are only 2 that don't, to my knowledge, and that's us and Stockton, to my knowledge. So we're looking at that. Should we fall in line with everywhere else? It makes sense that we probably should, but I'm willing to listen. But the other thing, as well as saving money, it would save a huge amount of carbon output. It would reduce our carbon footprint. We've got ambitious goals on that with information being released soon. We want to be carbon neutral as a council by 2029. That's one of the fastest in the north, the earliest in the north, and this will help us get there. In addition to that, Middlesbrough has really low recycling rates, and we need to change that. We need to recycle more. And it's proven that weekly collections result in low recycling rates. Fortnight collections result in more recycling. So there are 3 reasons. One is we want to save money so we can not cut other things, and we want to fall in line with other local authorities, the rest of the country pretty much. We want to reduce our carbon footprint. I'm sure everybody is with us on that, and we want to improve Middlesbrough's recycling rates. But if you have a strong view, get in touch. The other thing I must reassure you about, as well as people with communal bins would still potentially benefit from a weekly collection, anybody in a household more than a single person or something like that, we would be happy to supply you with a bigger bin that would last a couple of weeks.
Okay, hope that answers your question there for our viewer. Should we go to one of our younger participants today? So this is 2 questions from this young person. So let's take a watch of this first one.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Have you painted the Triceratops?
In relation to the Community Champions painting. I believe you've done some painting there yourself.
And I think Kai has too. And I've met Kai Hello, Kai. How are you doing? I don't know whether you're watching or not, but thank you for the question. Yes, I have. Before I was elected, I identified that T-Saurus Park, that fantastic dinosaur park that we have by the River Tees, that was a bit unloved, still great, but a bit unloved, and off the radar for a lot of people. They didn't know about it. I knew it was a hidden gem, and I knew that with a relatively small amount of money and some community activity, we could make it a real destination. So an awesome, brilliant, fantastic, generous group of volunteers called Community Champions. They're on Facebook, look them up. They took this park under their wing, and they have set about, with help from the council, and I think Howdens might have supplied some paint as well. They've repainted, nearly finished, all the dinosaurs. They look amazing. They look stunning, they look beautiful. And if you go to T-Saurus Park by the River Tees, the best bit of painting, beyond any doubt, that you will see in the whole place is the golden horns on the Triceratops at the top of the hill. And the artist in question was me. So do go and appreciate that work. It's a fantastic park. We're looking now to see what we can do. And we think that with a little bit of money, we can create some kind of cafe there for people to come and enjoy when they walk. You can use that park as a platform to walk along the River Tees and the Newport Bridge. We want to create activities for kids. We want to create information on dinosaurs. We want lights so that nights look amazing. We want sounds. And I really think we're going to do something great. I'm hoping we'll have it all in place by Easter next year, and we will have the most interesting, exciting, and certainly absolutely unique park in the whole of England.
There is lots of activity planned for that area. and Boho X was one of those. Shall we go to a question in relation to Boho X, and maybe you can elaborate on in terms of what's happening? This next question is from Laquinda. Let's watch this, and you can respond after that.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, I'm Laquinda from Learning Key. We're a training company based in Middlesbrough, what used to be the Old Princess Alice. And obviously we heard about the Boho X in terms of the digital impact and sort of future growth. And also there is a scale down of that. I just wanted to know what will be the sort of the future plans in terms of getting the youngsters involved in sort of coding and the digital sector.
Getting young people involved in coding and the digital sector. Obviously, the plans for Boho X have been revised. Would you like to share with our listeners, our viewers, and especially Laquinda, what are the plans for the future going ahead?
Hi, Laquinda. Good question. Yes, so we had a plan for a really ambitious, brave, and genuinely very striking, controversial, and striking building that was going to be the biggest, tallest commercial building, I think, between Leeds and Glasgow. COVID struck, and that's caused everyone to reevaluate. I mean, there is talk of offices ending. No one's going to use offices anymore. I tell you the truth about the situation is that I think working from home has worked better for almost all groups, work better than anybody could have imagined. And I think that's going to increase. But I guarantee you that offices are not finished. They're not dead and buried. In fact, Facebook, who presumably being ultimately tech savvy, could have more staff working from home than anywhere. Facebook have just spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a new HQ, right? So they're investing in their own brand new HQ offices. So offices are going to be around for a long time. But the nature of them will change, and definitely demand for them will be scaled back. So with all of that in mind, and bearing in mind we are in the middle of this crisis, I call it intra-COVID. We're not post-COVID. I think we're post-COVID when there's a vaccine. We're intra-COVID. We're playing it a little bit safer, but we haven't ditched any ambition. We are going to have not the tallest, but I genuinely believe the best office building between Leeds and Glasgow. It's going to be striking, and I'll share them on social media later, or you can go on my socials and have a look. It's going to be striking. It's going to be beautiful. There will be an outdoor cinema. There will be an outdoor orchard. There will be all kinds of wellness things like a gym. There will be bicycle storage for 100 bikes to get people cycling there. We're going to have a cinema in there. We're going to have a gym, a lecture hall. And for exercise, there's going to be, and classes and a little bit of swimming training, there's going to be an outdoor pool on the roof, which obviously is extraordinarily unlikely to be used in February, but might well get used in July or a good September like today. So it's a really exciting building. What's brilliant about our digital ambition is that we are uniquely placed. I'll tell you why. Because we have a great digital cluster, like other places, but it's great. But more importantly, we have a brand new secondary school getting built just over the road. Now that secondary school is going to focus on teaching kids digital awareness, digital skills, equipping them for 21st century careers. The biggest challenge in that sector right now, which is growing at about approaching 10% a year across the globe, the biggest challenge is recruiting and retaining talented staff or skilled staff. The next thing is we're working with Middlesbrough College. Middlesbrough College is introducing a T-level focused on digital skills. T-level replaces A-levels. It's a mixture of study in the classroom and work experience. So we're going to be working with them. I'm going to work closely with Teesside Uni. So with our brilliant businesses, our unique building, our secondary school over the road that focuses on digital, with our university and our brilliant college, we will have a unique combination of things to bring about the employees, the golden employees that will do brilliant things to create jobs, sustain jobs, and bring prosperity to Middlesbrough in the next 10, 20, and 30 years. So yes, there's going to be great stuff for young people, and Middlesbrough is going to take off as a digital hub, and we will be the UK's digital city. Perhaps not in the next 10 years, but we will get there. If we keep doing this, we will get there.
You mentioned that it's unlikely to be used in February, but with climate change, you don't know, it might be a bit of a forward planning on your behalf. Talking about climate change and environment and general environmental issues, we do have a question in relation to your pledge or your commitment to plant thousands of trees. So this is David. Let's take a listen to David.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hello Andy, my name's David from Down to Earth Tees Valley. Last year in your election campaign you promised to plant thousands of trees in Middlesbrough. What type of trees and where have you planted them so far? Can you answer these questions please? Thank you.
Quick stroke on the donkey there. Yeah. So in relation to trees, I believe I seen something on social media a little while back that there is some grant that was secured by Middlesbrough Council for trees. So would you like to?
Good. It's a good question, David. Trees are a massive, monstrous, and really important push for me and for the council as a whole. They are great for mental health. They reduce, the average mature tree absorbs about 20 kilos of carbon, right? Each year, every year. So you plant 1,000 trees, that's 20,000 tons of carbon getting absorbed out of Middlesbrough's air every year. If you plant 10,000 trees, it's 10 times that. 100,000 trees, 100 times that. The ability for trees to absorb carbon and improve our environment and to help mental health is absolutely staggering. So I'm on a mission, and my goal was to plant 10,000 over 4 years. I think so far I don't know the exact number actually, certainly by the spring, and we've got all the sites identified, it'll be about 14,000, and I'm hopeful that over the 4 years that I'm mayor, there'll be about 40,000 new trees, additional trees. We have too few in Middlesbrough. We are relatively built up. We're more densely populated than almost everywhere else, but we still have room for a lot more trees. The kind of trees that have gone in have been all sorts. I mean, we got a £500,000. I worked with officers and we applied for £500,000 from. Ultimately, it came from the government, but from a body to plant trees, and we funded the positioning of oak trees, cherries. Beech, we've got silver birch, we've got lots of different kinds. They've been planted along main roads in Laycock Park. They've been planted along the trunk road, the A66, and a whole range of places. I think Linthorpe Cemetery, I think we've helped plant some trees there. I think we've helped replace some cherries. And by the way, Linthorpe Cemetery is a magnificent place to go and visit. It's a bit of a hidden gem for Middlesbrough, so please do go and see that. But now, this autumn is when we start the second phase, and we'll be working more closely in residential areas all over, but especially actually parts of East Middlesbrough where trees were maybe planted in the 60s when those estates were built and have died off, been damaged or whatever else. So we're going to put that right, and we're going to do it in October, and we've got a big plan, and I'm working on a plan for an urban forest somewhere central, also a tree planting remembrance opportunity. So more news to come soon. We take trees really seriously, and I will say again, the ability of trees to improve our mental health and to improve our environment by absorbing 20 kilos of carbon each year is utterly mind-boggling. And so it is absolutely right that we will commit more time, more money, more energy, and more effort to making sure we try and get 30, 40 or more thousand trees in Middlesbrough in the coming years.
So, David, I hope that answers your question. And we'll be going to our video questions in a moment. And we're just going to take a few of the comments. A few viewers are commenting in relation to coronavirus, and we've already covered that. I'm going to go to Jamie's comment here in a question. He said the arts in Middlesbrough is a growing sector with the work of MEMA and Teesside University. Also, the building of the Northern School of Art building. What is Andy doing to encourage this sector? So yes, the new Northern School of Arts getting built in Middlehaven. As I mentioned, lots of activity taking place in there. So what else are you doing and the council is doing in terms of encouraging the arts sector in Middlesbrough?
So the arts can play a really huge part in regeneration. There are loads of case studies all over the world, and I would say to people listening, watching, that even if you think you're not into the arts, actually get behind it, because if it's done intelligently, the arts can actually turn places around and can play a vital role in affecting change that brings about more jobs, more safety and lower crime. So I'm on a mission to do that. There is no hiding from that. There's no denial. Before COVID struck, we were in talks to boost a lot of existing arts events. But during COVID, I'm talking with a number of groups about bringing them into the centre of town, giving them space. Of course, Middlesbrough now owns our Captain Cook shopping centre. We want that to be a haven, a hub, a magnet for creative endeavour and energy. We want people coming into Middlesbrough to see the arts. We want people coming to Middlesbrough to perform the arts. We want people coming into Middlesbrough to shop and to see art while they're here. And we want people coming into Middlesbrough to work and doing all of those things while they're here, right? We need people in the centre of Middlesbrough for all of those reasons. I'm talking to, without saying too much, I'm talking to groups about making real change happen. I am completely on board, and we will commit more money, more energy, and more effort. And I'm going to use the word here, it's the stress word, intelligently, to commit more money and energy and effort, intelligently, to use the arts to promote well-being, more jobs, lower crime, and a much healthier town centre.
Definitely a comprehensive answer for that comment there. So shall we go back to our video questions? And big thank you to everyone that's made a contribution to this program. We'll be doing this on a monthly basis, and so we'd love to hear from you guys again. Although we are broadcasting on 104.5 CVFM, and this is this production is more of a social media production, so we are on Facebook and YouTube as well. So if you're able to contribute via video, that will be great. We've had some businesses make a contribution to the program as well. So we'll go to a local news agent next. He's got a question for you, Andy. Let's take a listen to this.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, my name's Ralph. I'm an independent news agent, and I've just got a question for the Mayor. I'd like to know what the council or the mayor is actually doing about illegal sales of tobacco in the area.
There on that video, the illegal sale of tobacco. Obviously, lots of shopkeepers that are trying to play by the rules are being affected by those that are bringing cigarettes in illegally. And so, what is the council and other partners are doing in relation to curtail those activities?
Sorry, was it Raf or Ralph?
Raf.
Okay, hiya, Raf. Listen, you obviously are a guy who's playing by the rules, and I'm sensing that you're frustrated because others don't, and it's not fair. And what we need to do is we need to support you. You need to be able to protect your family, look after your family, make a living, keep jobs, and every person that's selling fags, tabs, whatever, illegally is damaging our ability to do that. But not just actually in terms of jobs, but they're putting the public's health at risk. The quality of these illegal fags is dubious at best. They're sometimes exceptionally dangerous, causing all kinds of illnesses and problems. And we have teams of people that go out and we respond to intelligence and we clamp down and we get prosecutions. But we can do more, and the way we can do more, closing down the tab houses and stopping people that are putting honest shopkeepers out of business, we need intelligence, we need information. So what we want is we want you to tell us who's selling the fags, where they are. Don't put yourself in any risk, but if you can get any evidence, that's even more helpful. By the way, we're going to have a lot more cameras up and around town, at people's homes and in streets, on buildings, and that will help us gather intelligence. But we need the public's cooperation. So please come forward with info on tab houses or anything else that is antisocial, dangerous, and brings Middlesbrough down, because we can do stuff. We can bring these people to justice. We can put it right, but we need information, and ultimately we need evidence. And please come forward.
Talking about evidence, Matthew Rowe, he has a question. He said, "Hi, Andy. The council is planning on installing any CCTV cameras out of town locations such as Acklam, Linthorpe, Primden, and Colby, as there's crime and antisocial behaviour is rising in the whole of the town." So, apart from the TS1 area and the central location, are there any plans of putting cameras further afield as well?
Yeah, completely, and we are doing that. And actually, there are cameras around across town, and there are also some old cameras that actually were put in by certain groups with certain grants in the past, and the money's run out, and they're not connected anymore. That's stupid. So we're actually putting money to work now to bring a lot of the unused cameras back to life. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I think a couple of years ago it was something like 130 cameras that were active across Middlesbrough. Right now it's about 160. It'll be 180 before long. And I don't care if some groups say, oh, it's spying or it's this or it's that. We're not spying. What we're doing is protecting the public from criminals and troublemakers who bring this town and other people's lives down. And yes, we absolutely care about cameras in other locations, and we are going to re-implement a grant system where people across town can apply for a grant to put cameras around their house. We want you to feel safe. We want you to capture evidence of problems. So we're doing that. But obviously, what we will do is employ most cameras where most of the problems are, and that is in the most densely populated areas, the busiest areas, and typically central areas. So our cameras are focused on the central areas, Matthew. That won't stop, but we are absolutely rolling out more cameras. I'm thinking of Easterside off the top of my head. We're bringing some back to life there that have been unused for whatever reason for some years now, and that's not right. We've got the cameras, we've got the staff to monitor them. Let's connect them up. So, criminals watching, the chances of us catching you doing stuff are growing by the day. They've probably gone up, 10% over the last couple of years, and they will go up 10% next year. And if people give us more info and intelligence and report stuff, they'll go up 20%. We want to catch more people. We want to punish them, not because we like punishing. It's because we want to deter others, and we want to send a message. If you're a troublemaker and you won't change, go and live somewhere else. But yes, all areas are very important to us, and we will absolutely make sure there are some cameras in every area.
So, Andy, thank you for that. And we still have a few more questions that have been submitted on video. If you'd like to do the same for a future program, you can do it on Messenger, or you can send it on WhatsApp on 01642688104. All that information will be on our Facebook page. We'll go to Matt. I think he's next.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hey Andy, my name's Matt. You recently quoted in the newspapers as saying, antisocial behaviour blights communities and ruins lives. So what action are you and the council taking to stamp this out and give reassurance to the law-abiding members of the public?
So thank you for your question there, Matt. Antisocial behaviour, you have been very vocal and proactive. So what else can you do and are you doing?
Yeah. It's a really good question, and to me, it's obvious what we're doing, but it isn't obvious if you've got, I'll try not to swear, if you've got idiots on your street causing trouble, ruining lives. So I share everyone's frustration. The hardest thing about my job is meeting decent people whose lives are blighted and they can't understand why more isn't being done, and it is really tough. I tell you, since I was elected, the following things are all true: is we have more police on the streets in Middlesbrough. We have more street wardens on the streets in Middlesbrough. We have new bylaws in place that allow us to catch and fine people. We have more cameras. We're encouraging the public to report more things. Please report it. Please, a message to everyone now. Seriously, this isn't to, was it Matt? I can't remember. Was it Matt? Was Matt?
That's correct. Yeah,
Matt, I'm not talking about you, but I mean, so many people put a post on Facebook of some antisocial behavior or a problem, and then just that does nothing. That does not help anyone, right? Sharing bad news with your mates to try and get a few likes, that is not positive action, and people do that, bringing the town down. Report it. Get in touch with us on the council, right? Go on our website. There's going to be a special reporting link. With intelligence, if we know as soon as it happens, we can go and, for example, if there's a fly tipping incident, which there is all the time these days, if we know about it straight away, we get there, and sometimes there is evidence of who's done it, and we can either fine them, or if they won't pay the fine, they go to court. But we need the public's help with this. But I promise you, Matt, we are doing more than other places. We're attacking this problem, this horrible problem of serious antisocial behaviour, from a position of weakness where we'd gone from 80 odd street wardens down to 12, and it was due to be cut again. Police had been taken off the streets. We had fewer cameras. We were soft as a town. We'd almost given up. We are putting a lot more cameras out there. We've got more wardens on the streets. We've given powers to the wardens. We have got more police on the streets. And I'm urging, please, the public, report stuff to the council as soon as you see it. Don't tell me there was something happening yesterday. Don't tag me in Facebook. That doesn't help. Report it to the council and it gets logged, and we start building up intelligence that either we act on or it goes to the police. The police, okay, so I'm going to tell you something now. There is a problem in Middlesbrough and across the country with a growth in street dealing. Idiots, and again, I'm trying not to swear, idiots, morons, troublemakers and characters who think it's fine to stand in the middle of a street and sell drugs in broad daylight. It's absolutely not acceptable. And the police are stretched. And what we've done is, I get emails on this every day, by the way, is I've worked with some of the people who've complained. We've supplied the police with dates and times and addresses, and the police have arrested several people. They actually even apprehended a minor who was selling drugs, who actually I think has been taken into care. So we've intervened in her life, and we have stopped some scumbags polluting a street. Maybe only temporarily, but if they do it again, we will go after them again. But what we have to do is show everyone that this is not tolerated. And what had happened in Middlesbrough gradually over 40 years, bad behaviour was becoming acceptable. It was becoming the norm. I used to hear things like people like saying, business owners, shopkeepers, restaurateurs saying, well, it's just Middlesbrough, isn't it? No, it's not Middlesbrough, actually. It's a national problem that we seem to be worse than anywhere else at tolerating and whinging about, but not doing anything positive. So everyone needs to be positive about this, to nip it in the bud and help us to nip it in the bud by reporting it. And we'll use the extra wardens we've got now. We'll use the extra police we've got now. And we'll use the extra cameras we've got now. And we'll use the extra powers to get these, I'm nearly saying the bad words, to get these people off the streets. I want them in prison. I want them to be held up as an example to deter others. And when they're out of prison, go and live somewhere else. They're not welcome here. And I need your help. We are doing all we can. You might not believe it, but I promise you we are doing all we can, but we need your help. And we don't need people on Facebook spreading negative stuff, because that normalizes the problem. And then when other people see it, they think, oh, well, it's on Facebook. Everyone knows. You need to tell the police and or the council. Hope that answers the question, Matt.
Hopefully it does. We literally have about 10 minutes left of the program, and we still have about 3-4 questions to get through.
I'll be quicker.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. We're going to go to Stephen next. Obviously, Stephen likes to go out and have a drink and occasionally go to a restaurant as well. So he's asking how, well, let's see from Stephen.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, my name is Stephen, and I like to go for a drink every now and again. And I was just wondering what the mayor's advice is for to go safely drinking or go and have a nice meal at a restaurant.
A few pubs that were highlighted in terms of Corona, and some of them are really good in terms of tracking and they were able to identify who was there. Others were not so good. So Stephen's asking, how do we stay safe and still enjoy going out and supporting the nighttime economy as well?
Yeah. Okay, so good question. I met with a bunch of taxi drivers the other week, and we need to get people out socializing, seeing friends, whether it's in a restaurant or somewhere else or in a pub or whatever. But obviously, clearly, we need to make sure that's safe. Now, I'm telling you now, there is nothing intrinsically, right? By that, what I mean is there is nothing absolutely bad or dangerous about being in a restaurant. Being in a restaurant and behaving stupidly is a risk to your health, and being in a restaurant that's not well run is a danger to your health. So we're working with restaurants now. And by the way, like, our restaurants have responded magnificently. Some have voluntarily closed. I mean, I think Central Park and Olivello's did absolutely the right thing. They basically closed down. They got all the staff tested. They went in there and made sure it was spotlessly clean. They've even boosted existing good procedures that they had. So well done, those two restaurants. And we've got some great businesses. And I would urge everyone to be careful, be safe, keep a distance, wear a mask, wash your hands, stick to the maximum 6 rule. But don't be afraid to go to a pub or a restaurant and act sensibly, okay? And you can probably tell when you walk in whether it's well run, because they should be taking a register of who's coming in. They should be gathering your info. If they're not, they're probably too lax, and maybe you take your business elsewhere. I'm going to be out this Saturday again with staff, Middlesbrough Council staff. We're on a mission to make sure our places stay open and we keep our infections down. And the way we do that is we put pressure on the pubs and the restaurants to behave responsibly. If we think they're behaving badly and putting the health of the public at risk, we'll close them down. And I would urge you to be sensible, find a place with good practices, go there with a friend or two and have a nice, safe, simple night.
Hi and welcome back. Another few questions to go. You are tuned into Mayor's Question Time Live here on CVFM Radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and various other social media platforms. And thank you to everyone that took the time to send in their video questions. And another few to go, and I think they're going to be annoyed at me if I don't go through all of them. So let's go to this one from Hamilton Links.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, my name's Risha and I'm an apprentice youth worker at Hamilton Links who've delivered throughout the COVID pandemic. We've delivered to households across the town food parcels, sporting equipment, arts and crafts. We've delivered detached youth work, virtual online sessions, cooking, youth forums, you name it. We've done what we can to support young people throughout this change that not just adults are facing but also our young people. So the question that I have for yourself today is, what is Middlesbrough Council doing for young people since the COVID outbreak? What has been put in place to minimise antisocial behaviour, to tackle loneliness and isolation, to educate and occupy our young people, to keep them off the streets and engaged in positive activities? They are facing these changes and we need to support them, but how is that being put in place?
Questions there. Feel free to pick up on any one of them. But you were talking about young people being involved in drugs, but there are lots and lots of young people involved in positive activities, as Hamilton Links have shown. So in terms of your reaction to that, but also what the council is doing in terms of supporting young people.
Okay, yeah. So I know all about Hamilton Links. Thank you. I think was it Risha? And I know loads of people there. The only name I can remember right this second is Sarah, but Sarah and the team just do incredible work. And I know what you do. I see what you do. With all of not just the outreach, but looking after people, the food hampers that you did in the middle of a crisis. So thank you for everything you've done for Middlesbrough. What you do is incredible. Middlesbrough Council is committed to helping all the groups like you as best we possibly can. I'll tell you something that we did, okay? We changed our management structure and we saved a load of money, a couple of £100,000, maybe a bit more. And we put more pressure on our management team who are already under pressure. I know people at home won't appreciate that, but I promise they are. They're doing more work for the same money. They're going home later, arriving earlier. And with the money that we saved by doing that, we have put that into youth services. So we are completely committed. The best things we can do for young people is support groups like Hamilton Links, and there are many others, but support groups like Hamilton Links. And the awesome work that you do is to create the life-changing career opportunities for you when you leave school, reach 16, 18 or 21, is to help our colleges to do well and help young people through them. And also to inspire by picking on the role models and making sure that some young people here that get a bad deal don't think that there's no way out. And we need to make sure our places are safe. So we need to be tough on crime, tough on antisocial behavior, tough on drugs. And we're doing all of those things. So I take your message. Thank you for that. Good luck in your apprenticeship. I love Hamilton Links. I love what you do. We are committed to helping young people. Of course, money is tight, but you know what we did? We basically got rid of a role. We put more burden on our senior management team, and with the money that we saved, which added up to a lot, actually, it was several roles, not one, sorry. With the money that we saved, we ploughed that into youth services. So we are absolutely on board and committed.
Thank you for that. I hope that answers your question. Another 2 or 3 questions left. Let's go to this gentleman here and see what he has to say.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hello, my name is Adam. I am from Sudan. I like Middlesbrough. Most people very nice in Middlesbrough. When I look in Facebook, some people have too much headache. What can you do? Bring people together.
Facebook and social media generally, there is it is an echo chamber, and there is lots of vitriol and hate. So Adam wants to know, what can you or the wider community partner organizations do together to bring communities together and promote social cohesion, for better words. So what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, hi Adam. I don't know how recently you came to Middlesbrough, but welcome. I'm glad you think it's great, and I hope you do really well here. I hope you grow. I hope you prosper. I hope you can build a great future. And I mean, so many people have come here in recent years, but of course over scores of years. But in recent years, people have come here and done incredible things. And God, I'm going to name someone named Binny. I always name Binny, but Binny is the best example actually of someone who came to Middlesbrough originally from Africa, from Eritrea, and Binny has built a life. Binny helps the community. Binny runs a charity. Binny does incredible work bringing people together, and he adds so much value to Middlesbrough. And you know what? Yeah, there are some horrible people around. Interestingly, my own socials in the last 2 weeks seem to be coming under attack. There seems to be a little organized campaign with maybe 10 or 20 people who keep posting. Sometimes it's quite subtle, but I know where it's heading. It's basically nasty, hostile stuff towards people who aren't born and bred in this town. And, my message is just really clear, is that I honestly don't give a monkey's where someone is from. If somebody comes here and wants to fit in and makes an effort and can do good things and help others, then I want them to stay. And if somebody, regardless of whether they were born here or not, if they cause trouble, I want them to clear off. I don't want them here. We want good, positive, energetic people here, whether they are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they're from, right? So I personally am on a mission to get that message across. I'm personally on a mission, and I always have been. And some people sometimes have accused me of all sorts of things. I get accused of being some right wing, and I get accused of being left wing. And the truth is, I'll tell you what I honestly think. And I honestly think that Middlesbrough is a pretty harmonious place, probably more harmonious than many, but we have pockets of problems and we need to deal with it. We need to show people that it's not acceptable, but we also need to acknowledge some people's frustrations where they're genuine. And I'm working with Idris. Actually, we're getting together more groups from across different communities to talk, because you know what, when people talk, when people share, when you live next door to someone and you get to know them, when you work with someone or when you interact with someone and they're from a different background or different life, different perspective, you start to understand each other, and nearly always brilliant things happen. And in particular, I think you were from Sudan, Adam, I think you said. Yeah, well, people from your part of the world, i.e. from sub-Saharan Africa, I've had a number of meetings with a particular group on that, and we're looking to get a regular meeting in place. And that's not because I want to favor people from one part of the world over others, but I do think that sometimes people from sub-Saharan Africa get lumped into this BAME thing, and perhaps they get a bit their voice, their issues, the value they can bring, their energy and positivity gets a bit kind of lost in a much bigger mix. So I'm going to work for a period of time with some people from sub-Saharan Africa to help make great things happen, help people join the wider community and do great things. And there are great things, like I mentioned Binny, and I shouldn't pick on Binny, but I'm going to pick on someone. But in Albert Park, they are growing food, right? And anybody is welcome. They've got a tree of peace, and anybody's welcome to go and water this tree of peace. We've got this fantastic energy and passion going on in Middlesbrough. And you know what? And there are going to be some of the nasty cohort out there that are saying that I'm this and I'm that. And I don't care. But what I want to get across is that I'm not anything. I'm going to tell you what I honestly believe. And I honestly believe that bad behavior of any kind from anyone should not be tolerated, and good behavior and good neighbors and good community people should be rewarded. And I couldn't give, nearly swearing, a monkey's where people come from. And Adam, thank you for coming on. Thank you for getting involved. What I've been trying to do actually in recent weeks, probably slowed down, but I've been trying to champion some of the great community activists that we have from a non-traditional background, because I think when some of the people who don't interact with people from a non-traditional background see that, they'll feel really positively towards this joining of ideas. And it's not about changing a culture or losing British culture. It's actually just about trying to get on with people and make good things happen and kick out the idiots. I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's what we want to do, right? We want to be a magnet for good people, and we want to kick out the idiots. Sorry for being blunt.
Okay, Andy. Another couple of quick questions. We did have another one. Was it Kai before? He submitted another one. Let's see what he has to say on this one.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. How much would I get paid if I can be the mayor?
That's a question in relation to your salary. So how much can he get paid if he was the mayor?
Well, okay. There's a question, isn't it? How much does the mayor of Middlesbrough earn? And it's a two-word answer. Not enough. But I think.
I'm sure you're not doing this job for the money, are you?
No, I'm not doing the job for the money. But the money is important for jobs for lots of different reasons, actually. And I think when the role was set up, I think it was set at something like 70, an equivalent about 70-odd thousand pounds. It's since, while I've been there, it's come down to about 62,000 or something, which to a lot of people, in fact, to anyone, that's a lot of money, and it's way higher than the average. But it's less than an MP, and it's is it too much or too little? I don't know. I have no say over what the mayor gets paid, but I think that what you want a mayor who is completely committed, right? Who is completely committed, and you want to attract the right people. And sometimes if a salary is too low, it might put the right people off, or it might actually send a message that it's quite a low status job. You need to make sure that you're getting people who are monstrously personally committed to this, who will give their blood, sweat and tears 24/7. And I think if you were to reduce the salary, it would send a bit of a message that the job isn't as serious. We're not taking this job as seriously. So personally, I don't care what it is. I'm not doing it for the money, but it is really important to make sure that a mayor doesn't earn significantly less than an MP, which the mayor currently does. And I don't think that's right. But nonetheless, it's a lot of money to most people. And I think it's about £62,000 a year.
Okay, Auntie. I think we're going to end on a couple of positives. So let's go to this question here. This is Ellie.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hiya, Andy. A few years ago, I donated a transgender flag to the council when Phil Douglas helped us with the TDOR events that were held in the town hall. And I donated it so that the council said that they were happy to fly it on Trans Day of Remembrance Day on the 20th of November. Trans Awareness Month is for the month previous. I just want to confirm or ask you, can you confirm that the trans flag would be flying at Middlesbrough Town Hall on the day of Trans Day of Remembrance this year? Thank you very much.
It does great work in terms of promoting diversity within different organisations. So involved in.
Hi, Ellie. Ellie's great, isn't she? I mean, lots of people do. People who don't know Ellie, she is a fantastic asset to Middlesbrough, and I wish we had 100 Ellies doing great work and bringing people together. Ellie, unless there is already a date unless that date is already allocated to another cause, in which case it wouldn't be fair to fly the transgender remembrance flag. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's do it. So assuming that date hasn't already been allocated, we will do that. I'm going to forget that as soon as I finish talking because I've got a million other things in my head. So you're going to have to remind me via text or email or whatever else. We'll make that happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question, Andy. Ellie, do drop Andy an email. We're going to go to our last question, and then we're going to round off the program. So let's take a listen to this.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, tell me.
Hi, I'm Queen Nathan Street's Head for Information, and we are working in Gresham. We have lots of great projects going on at the moment to help us deal with the issues that we have happening in the area. We're learning lots of lessons about how people can work together, and I'd like to ask the Mayor how he can help us to share those lessons across the area, across the town, so different organisations, different communities can actually come to work together to make this whole town a better place to be in.
Streets Ahead for information in Gresham. Gresham does get lots of negative coverage, but there's some great work that takes place, and the communities are driving that, and some of the projects that, for example, the back alley makeover projects and the community walking groups and the like. So how do we champion those causes? How do we support them? How do we amplify their message?
Yeah, Kim, I championed Ellie a minute ago, and Kim and that charity Streets Ahead and all the volunteers there, Linda and all of the others, there are too many to mention. They do incredible work for Gresham and for Middlesbrough. Thank you for everything you do. I want to support you. I want to grow it. I want to showcase what you do. So first of all, I can broadcast a lot of the good stuff. And recently, I did a Facebook post that was hugely popular. It was Catch of the Day, the last proper fishmongers that isn't in a monstrous supermarket in the whole of our area, and people loved it. And there are some absolute gems going on in Gresham, and we need to champion them, but also good practice. So Kim, get in touch with me and we'll broadcast it. We'll try and give you a platform to share what you're doing. Central Middlesbrough gets a bad rap, and it is a challenged and challenging place, but fantastic things have always happened. Fantastic things will always happen, but more fantastic things are happening month on month. The alley makeover project, which I won't take credit for, but I've got the council's momentum behind it now, right? And we are going to transform some people's lives, and then we've got to make sure that they stay good, and we're going to do that partly with cameras. We've got some awesome staff that work in there. We're going to name Adam Parkinson, who's there on the streets helping residents, protecting people, dealing with safety. We're going to make Gresham safer, cleaner, more prosperous. We're going to make the landlords happy, not because we care about the landlords, but they're a barometer. Landlords aren't making any money at the moment. Do you know why? Because the turnover in these houses is too high. People that are moving in want to move out. Well, we are changing it, and 13 Group are going to be putting up a couple of hundred new homes very soon. We're going to be doing all kinds of new things in that area. Central Middlesbrough is changing, and in 3 years' time, people are going to say, wow, I did not expect this. And Kim, I want you and Streets Ahead to play an important role in that. We all need to play a role. We need to report crime. We need to support each other. We need to stop being negative. It's okay to challenge and constructively criticize, but we need to stop being negative. We need to work together. I'm going to say it. We need to attract more good people. We need to repel, kick out, tell them to clear off all the baddies, and we can make Middlesbrough even better year on year, year on year.
Indeed. And thinking about and talking about making things better, one last comment we're going to add onto the screen there. That's Junior there. He's saying, with the world being full of negatives, what 3 positive things can we look forward to in Teesside in 2021?
Good question. Well, I'll tell you what, Junior. Hello, Junior. I think we can all look forward to, I believe we can all look forward to a vaccine. It's not guaranteed, but I'm an avid listener of podcasts and reader of factual stuff. I think things are looking promising for a vaccine for one to be ready and working by the end of this year, which probably means a rollout on a mass level in the middle of next year. So I think that's probably the best news we could all have. But by the way, I am not saying it's happening. I think it's looking good. So I think that's something to be really hopeful of. Secondly, treatments for the virus are improving all of the time, so the virus will become less health risky and there'll be even less mortality. I think on a local level, talking about Central Middlesbrough, TS1 is the absolute epicenter of our conurbation. Whether you live in Billingham, Redcar, Gisborough, wherever, you need a really healthy Central Middlesbrough. We have some fantastic announcements coming of urban living, new leisure experiences. I won't name them all, but really great things happening, Junior, and everyone. And we need to get behind them, and we need to get behind Central Middlesbrough, because if Central Middlesbrough can prosper, that will absolutely ripple out across everywhere else. We're really one town spread across 3 councils. It's one town of 400,000 people. We need to start thinking, acting and working like one town. And right now we need Middlesbrough to lead that, because it is geographically, commercially and demographically the epicenter. Central Middlesbrough is the epicenter of that 400,000 city. We can look forward to awesome new homes, awesome new offices, new parks, more trees, new kinds of jobs, more hope, more reduction in crime. I am immensely ambitious. I'm immensely optimistic. I'm aware of the challenges. Economically, we've got a headwind, but that doesn't mean we give in, and it doesn't mean we can't win. We will win.
So that's a positive, and we're going to finish off our program. I just want to thank you, Andy, for making time for us here on CVFM Radio, and a big thank you to all our contributors today. And without you guys, with your questions, there wouldn't be no program today. So Andy, are you up to do it again next month?
Sure. I've only eaten half the Twix, so you're going to have to save that. And
No, I appreciate your time, Andy, and thank you to all our participants in terms of their questions as well. Lots of comments coming in as well, and do keep things positive, and we'll be back again with another program. So, Andy, last message from you before we round things off and say our goodbyes.
Listen, thank you for watching, listening. Thank you for the questions. Keep them coming. I do try really hard to be as open, as honest and transparent as I can. I have to be clear. If you put a comment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I'm very unlikely to see that. I cannot answer them all. I can't even answer all emails. Somebody can answer on my behalf all emails, but I cannot do that. So please be patient. But I do these things because I want you to have access to me. By people raising issues, that's how I learn what we need to do better. That's how I learn how to constructively challenge the police to get dealers off the streets. That's how I learn to constructively challenge council workers to do an even better job. Keep in touch with me, guide me, challenge me. I will not flinch from questions. I will not flinch from challenge. I will tell you what I think. A lot of the time you won't like it, and that's fine. So long as you are mature, we're all going to get along. I'm going to do what I think is right. That's what I've been asked to do what I think is right while I'm there. And I believe, and I can show you, we are now on a better track to reversing 40 years of decline. And bit by bit, we're going to turn the town around and be a natural competitor for places like Leeds and Newcastle, for investment and hope.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you to you for watching. We have overrun for by about 15 minutes, but that was to be expected. Lots of questions. We'll be back again. Take care. Goodbye, Middlesbrough.